tad under the weather, so if it's difficult to understand me, my apologies. I will do my best, okay? That's why I have my tea here ready to go, okay? So, I heard family style. So, I'm going to pull my Grateful Dead tarot deck here. It's my most traditional deck, believe it or not, because there's no like extra cards to the Rider-Waite sequence. Okay, so if you are looking for tarot decks, it is a good one to have on hand. Anyway, that being in mind, if you are new, please subscribe to the channel to help pass these messages around, or like the video when you feel this resonates with you, okay? You can also drop a comment, and if you're watching it live, you can drop a comment in the chat, and it disappears when the chat is gone, so it won't stay there as a comment, all right? I'm thinking about doing a live at some point where I take donations, so for like readings and stuff. So I'll probably put a community post out there gauging some interest and see if anybody responds. I know some people just like to have it when they are thinking about it, right? Okay, Queen of Swords. Yeah, they want to get on with the program. They're tired of the indecision, okay? So, oh my goodness. I'm hearing sweet child of mine, so somebody's maybe confused on their direction as well. And that could be part of that decision with the Two of Swords. I also saw the Six of Swords, so it looks like whatever that direction is, it's one where you want to be kind of left alone, kind of the get off my lawn type vibe. Okay, yeah. Queen of Pentacles, and how about that? It probably is your lawn, right? Earth sign. You're like, actually, this is my house and I am living in it. Yes, thank you very much. Why are you so shocked? Yes, I do know how to work for a living, right? I know how to take care of myself and the ones that I care about, shown here with a bear in hand. So you could have family. Family came up earlier. So this is very, Queen of Pentacles showcasing her abundance, okay? The way she does it is, it really is put into the home, okay? I just read some statistics, was reading on some statistics about home ownership applications and how the number of home ownership applications skews statistically that more single women apply for new home loans than single men, and it was almost a staggering amount. So it wasn't like within like 1 or 2 percentage points, it was like quite a swing, for the same age group of people, and unmarried people, people that aren't in relationships, like maybe they're, but they're wanting to take advantage of, their income and the housing market that they're in. Because, as bad as the housing market is, like, it's not horrible everywhere, right? And it changes from, any realtor will tell you that. And it changes from month to month, probably from week to week some places. Anyway. So, yeah, Queen of your castle. You definitely have some roots. You're not going anywhere. They better move mountains to be with you because you are the mountains, okay? Colorado may be significant for you as well. Okay. That may be one of your favorite places. Four of Pentacles. Yeah, there's a real feeling of security here. Some of that you almost could kind of loosen up on a little bit, okay? And it's almost like starting, you can see the figure here, the face is almost starting to crack a smile. And, kind of like, we made it through the night. Now the sun's coming up. You know, you can crack a smile. We made it through another day, right? It's kind of that giving that. And you can see here, they're all like having a grand old time. But, you know, it's like the person who's in charge, it's like, okay, can I relax now? And with the Queen of Pentacles in your foundation, yes, right? You know you're stable. Astrologically speaking as well, this resonates to Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo signs. And if you're curious about your chart, there's a lot of websites that can show you how to calculate your chart and using both Western and Vedic astrologies, okay? So I would recommend doing that if you're interested in understanding that part of the correspondence to the energy, okay? The Knight of Pentacles. A lot of earth energy, okay? So this may be me, a message for me to stay home, which I have been getting that message as, you know, like yesterday I was really busy and I felt pretty good because I was like busy doing stuff. I was a little achy and I wasn't really putting a whole lot of thought into it until like late last night. I started getting something in my throat, and then now today it's kind of like more starting to get full-blown respiratory. So it's kind of that slow roll, right? And that's what the Knight of Pentacles is too. But you know, like any good investment, even if you start small here, a lot of times there's a promise of it growing into something kind of wild. Like you can see how it starts here level, and then all of a sudden it goes up, you know, kind of like, you know, maybe you invested in something in the stock market that was like this, and all of a sudden it went up. You know what I mean? Like, it could be something like that. And financially speaking, I mean, if you're talking about the Knight of Pentacles, well, that's, you know, you could also, if you're somebody who does like farming and stuff, you might be starting to think about, you know, since spring is coming around, you know, how you're going to manage your future bounty, okay? So just as I had talked about that financially, you can apply that to multiple areas of your life. And that's part of why it's appearing in the solar plexus, is because you, collective, have the power and the creativity to make that happen, okay? So you might be delaying a little bit right now and unsure of what direction to go, okay? But again, you won't know unless you actually plant that seed. So part of that is maybe letting go of one of these, right? And saying, okay, you know, I've held on to this idea for like, maybe this is a project you have, like, and now it's like time to actually set it in motion, to kick it off, okay? And it's like, okay, because you know, as soon as you kick it off, people are going to start asking questions. And then it's like, well, are we going to do it this way or that way? And you're like, well, wait a second, I'm trying to make a schedule here, blah, 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 right? Things can get... And some of that is that work that you just have to do and hope that it pays off, okay? With this Knight of Pentacles. You're not going to know tomorrow. You're not going to know the next day. But, you know, a week from now, are you going to be able to see something? Maybe. Or 2 weeks or 2 months or however it is. You know, what a normal check-in schedule for something of that nature would look like, you know. And if you don't know, go out there and do some research on it. Like, I'm just amazed anymore at the amount of like easy Googling it takes to find things out, and then there's these things going viral, and it's like, well, this is like not even real, okay? So anyway. Now, Queen of Cups. Talk about focusing on your heart, okay? But in a healthy way. Yes, because number one, you don't have to worry about some of these other things that a lot of people take for granted on a day-to-day basis. Okay? And I'm not saying that people don't work for what they have, but I am saying that sometimes, we forget that it could be a different way and perhaps through no fault of our own, okay? Um, Oftentimes we're very lucky to have been born where we were born, or, even though our family might have had some issues, right? Um, we had a pretty good family, versus maybe somebody that didn't have any family. So there's a lot of, again, underlying stability here, okay, that makes it easier for you to tap into this emotional space, okay? And, not only like maybe receive somebody else's message, but, have some level of understanding, okay? Um, Being sympathetic, being able to empathize, a lot of people say they are empathic. The thing is with empaths is sometimes we take on a little too much, okay? And that is part of the title, right? So yeah, and part of the reasons why we might shut down, right, emotionally, okay, and sometimes almost without reason, is if you're getting triggered, okay? And maybe it has nothing really to do with the person that you're speaking to, and maybe it has something to do, like, underlying here. Maybe there's something not as stable, right? So that might be something that needs to be addressed, okay? And that is both within and whoever you're speaking with, okay? I think it is actually twofold in this case. All right. Um, but that being said, like I said, being able to empathize, but not letting yourself be taken advantage of. You see, her chair is still on the beach. And like she's near the water. She's not just like aimlessly floating in the water. Okay? You understand the difference? So that's Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, and we do have a full moon coming up, and the water signs definitely get more impacted, I feel like. Earth signs, I would say, probably as well, a little bit. Look who wants to pop out, air and more earth. Justice. Who has time for justice, right? Okay, so let's see what's in the throat chakra now. I know what's in part of my throat, a bunch of gooey stuff. The Three of Swords. So sorry, I'm not exactly like camera ready today, okay? I still took the dog for a walk though, right? Okay? We're getting it done. The Three of Swords. So somebody may want to communicate some kind of disappointment that they've had in communicating with you. And maybe it was because when they were coming at you, something was getting triggered. Okay? So it is possible that, obviously, without some self reflection, right? Some people will be like, no, I'm perfect in all my communications with people. Dun, 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 right? Is that like Mork and Mindy? Like nano. Where it's like, well, maybe this person was trying to offer like a stable look, and for some reason it didn't come across that way, okay? So, like I said, expressing some disappointment, and this could be both ways as well. Now, these are both queens, okay? That is a possibility that this person could have had, kind of like, maybe you are, you know, like for some of you, the second marriage, okay, or a later in life relationship type thing where there's already things going on, okay. Now, letting some of that go could be like people growing up, you know, like maybe, you know, that somebody's not having to pay child support anymore, so they can loosen up a little bit. You know what I mean? They might still have some expenses or want to help out and things like that, but maybe, you know, that type of, um, I don't know who said this. I heard barbage. I'm sure somebody feels like it's that way, but like, come on now. All right. Get a grip. Right? Yeah, get a grip. Just because you want to party all the time with Queen of Wands, right? Let's, again, think about how grateful we are to be in the position that we're in. I mean, I've heard people complain about some crazy, crazy stuff regarding, you know, these types of court situations, and maybe that's why the Justice card was there that was flipping out earlier. You know, and they're like arguing about, well, so and so wants to do this and that and blah blah, even though they're, you know, no longer in a legal, you know, marriage contract. So it's like, well, yeah, they can probably do that, you know, and you're just gonna have to adjust, right? Especially when you have something, you know, that you're taking care of together. Okay. And something as important as your home life. Okay. Nobody wants to fault anybody for taking care of their home life. You know, that's part of human nature as well. And if there's somebody out there that thinks what you do for your family maybe is too much, that might be an issue, right? Maybe you're more involved with your family than they are. That might, again, be triggering to them, whereas, you know, maybe their viewpoint is a little bit different. Okay? There's actually a lot of things going on here. I'm getting a lot of messages. So sorry if it's kind of Cancer. Let's see what's in the third eye, please. So if you are a clairvoyant, okay, that's related to the third eye chakra, okay? That may include actual visions, okay? Three of Cups, okay? Whew, boy. When I talked about the possibility of this being two different queens, this I feel like is possibly what you're envisioning, okay, and what you or this person wants to talk to you about. So for some of you, this person could be wanting to tell you about a situation that they had going on, perhaps with a Queen of Pentacles, if you are not this Queen of Pentacles, okay, and where it's like, you know, but now this, you know, Queen of Cups is here as well. And it's like, well, what is this doing here? And especially when I have the Three of Swords with a turnaround to the Three of Cups. So I feel like part of this is somebody thought that okay. So this could be a two separate situation, but if you're on the continuum here, what I'm getting is that somebody thought this might be a good option, but it didn't hold. Okay, it wasn't set in stone. There's like a lock around this. You know, you see this? But it's like that was never secured, okay? And now that person is now seeing this or in need of this, right? And now they kind of want to come and cause havoc and be like, well, I wasn't with you because actually I had this other situation, or I just didn't realize, but see, I see now how it could be, and I'm sorry that, you know, maybe it didn't appear that way, but I really want it to be, you know what I mean? That's how it's kind of coming across to me in that manner, okay? So buyer beware, all right? Like, it's one of those things when somebody's like, well, you're single, I'm single. It's like, okay, that doesn't mean that I don't have another choice. You know? Yeah, commonality does not make the score solid, and that's part of why it wasn't locked down. And like I said, you know, the Nine of Pentacles, it's something, it's with potential. But if that person kind of abandons the ship and and has other things going on, right? Then it's like, and if you're the one who's left here to take care of everything, then it's like, well, why should I worry about anybody else coming into my energy? Because what are they doing for me? And right now, it sounds like they just want to mess around with your mind, right? Potentially. And, you know, make promises of things that nobody's seen yet, okay? And part of why they want to do that is because they see how loving and so it's kind of like they are starting to understand your complexity. But you know, it's just like, well, good job, I guess. Go take the quiz now, you know? Maybe you can read another chapter tomorrow and figure more out. I feel like that's kind of how you feel about the situation from that, like, I'm glad you caught up with the rest of the world, you know, but I'm good, you know. So anyway, what's in the crown now? The Nine of Wands. Yeah, I feel like you're in a phase of healings. I was thinking of something to heal the collective, and it's like you already kind of like have, you know, the gauze out, kind of have been wrapping yourself up in a way, not readying for the next battle, but saying, you know what, even if I do, yeah, judgment. You've called judgment on a lot of situations with a lot of people, and you're not ashamed of it, okay? Because again, where you started out was very strongly with the Queen of Pentacles. You're standing in your truth, doing what you need to do. Reminds me of, I was thinking about this the other day, I wasn't sure where it fit. At a local place where I used to go, you know, one of the ladies that worked there, her coworker would always say, well, how can you get all this done, or how can you do what you do, or whatever. And she's like, you just do it. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's just how it is, and that is the Queen of Pentacles. Now, if you're relating to this message a little bit on that side, you might want to go check out my Gangster Monday video, okay? Because that is the Queen of Pentacles. Like, oh, well, if you're not going to do this delivery, then I have to go do it because I got to get stuff done. You know what I mean? I got a baby to feed here. You know what I mean? I got a dog to walk. Like, I can't wait for you, obviously. So, hey, you, get off my cloud, right? Yeah, you're letting all that stuff go. Go with the wind. It's exactly the four winds down here. The four winds safely blow you home. It's like, okay, well, nice to see y'all. Thanks for stopping by now. Yep. Send me a postcard. Maybe we'll see you next time. Maybe not. Maybe I won't live here anymore. You know, that could be part of this too, is that somebody was planning some kind of home with you as well. And it's just, again, it's like you got into this like overgiving type of situation with this Queen of Cups, and it's kind of like you had to draw the line in the sand, literally, here, okay, where she's sitting, and say, you know, look, I'm in touch with my emotions, but that doesn't mean you can just run all over me like a tidal wave. Okay? So, you know, if you had to talk to this person about that, they might not have liked it, right? And they're like, well, actually, what I was envisioning was me, you, and them. And you're like, oh well, I guess you can take your one hand and place it, and then take your other hand, and then here, I'll just push you out with my boot, and then yeah, you can hold on to your junk as you scramble down the street away from my place, if that's what you thought was going to happen. So, again, thanks for stopping by. Send a postcard. Or actually, not. So, I feel like for some of you, you're definitely recovering a little bit from some of these interactions here with the Nine of Wands. And you could be a little bit bitey about it. Like I said earlier, you know, kind of the trigger thing. But I'm not saying it's not without provocation. Because I'm sorry, but who goes poking an alligator except some people that want to get messed up? What's that saying they all say these days? The kids F around and find out? Well, yeah, the judgment's called. Okay, and sometimes that judgment happens in a court of law, just like the justice card earlier. Okay? Okay. There we go. Let's go ahead and do some moonology, because there is a full moon on Saturday, okay? So it's a good time to charge your crystals and stuff. You know, take a moon bath. Get out your telescope if you have one. Even like some high-powered binoculars, I feel like can give you a pretty cool look at the moon. So what do we have for this collective, please? Whew. Your commitment is being tested. Yeah. Part of that is this holding on here. And it's like, you may be holding on to something, but you might be holding on to it in a way that it's not exactly serving you, okay? Where, you know, you might need to have a little bit more faith in the situation as well, okay? And the ability to let something go and let something be, okay? You know, kind of surrendering to the flow a little bit, okay? I know for like an earth sign, it's like very, you know, things are more like, you know, especially a Queen of Pentacles, you know, you might have a daily schedule, a daily routine. You're like, no, I don't really vary from that, you know, whatever it is. And, you know, the King of Pentacles is very like authoritarian, okay? So it's, yeah. For some of you, you could, I mean, I don't know if you're still in this partnership with this person, if you're this Queen of Wands, okay? I almost feel like somebody's trying to say like, oh, you can't let me go, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but did it actually work out? Did it turn out? You know, and this is where you're like, this is where I have to step in, and you know, part of that, you know, like it's Pisces season now. Maybe I'm gonna dig in and say, why did I think I really needed that person so much that I was willing to let them kind of throw me off here a little bit? Because that's what's happening. That's their intention for this. Okay? A fiery climax approaches. Yeah, I feel like for a lot of you, you could be really kind of putting a stamp on it, putting an, not an end to it, but a really, like I said, communicating that, you know, you may have heard, I don't know what you heard, to be honest, but Regardless of what you heard, you thought and judged wrong. And the judgment collective is yours. It belongs to you. Okay? Not to these people. You're the one who has the all-seeing eye. Okay? Because these people are trying to call judgment on your experiences. And the fact that you even appeared right out of the gate as a Queen of Pentacles, it's like, who do they think they're messing with? You know, it's like, it's almost equivalent to going up to somebody's Nona that's lived there on the corner, you know what I mean? And her, you know, flat or whatever for, you know, the last 30 years, and somebody going in there and saying, well, I don't think you can live here anymore. And it's like, well, what do you know about it? Because my plan is to stay here. I don't care what you do. But I kind of do care what you do. And that's where you're like, as a matter of fact, you can take your foot off my property, right? We're back down the hallway and down the stairs and out of the building. What do you think about that? Oh, but no, right? No, I'm not, yeah. Okay? I didn't get this beach by being a dummy. Hello. People think they can snow you, be in the dark. It's like, here's another example. You know, sometimes you ever have a gut feeling about somebody and you're like, you can't put your finger on it. You know what I mean? Now, maybe through association, you might have some opinion of this person, but you know, you can't really confirm anything because there's nothing ever been concrete that's happened. And then, perhaps years later, you find something out that happened, you know, from somebody, like, you know, like, close source-wise, and you're like, huh. It's like, wait a second. You're like, why didn't I really care for that person to begin with? Oh, I can't even remember, you know? It's like, oh, well, maybe I was right about that. You know, you're a lot smarter collective than these people have been realizing, and I think it's like they're just now getting it. That's why this bolt of light, it's like lightning finally struck their little pea brain. You know, maybe their little amygdala has been calcified, or their pineal gland, or whatever it's called. Okay, I don't know. Anyway. What's that guy say? Can't fix stupid. It doesn't mean you can't be empathetic to the plight, right? And it's like, you know what? My vision of celebration and your vision of celebration aren't quite lining up, is it? So I might be getting on out of here with it. And it's almost like this rose up here, you know, the one that's slightly bigger here is kind of like almost sprouting its own leaves to fly out, you know. So there could be, part of this could be because this person had some kind of secret competition with you, could have been jealous of you, could have been jealous of just even the time and energy that you put into, you know, your home and what you've built for yourself and your abundance. You know, some people, they're jealous of the time that people spend with their kids. I mean, there are people that are that way. Okay. Yeah. Expect powerful change. So, of course, after the full moon this weekend, then we will be on our way to a new moon. And yeah, I feel like you've kind of, this eclipse part of it, I feel like you've already eclipsed, okay? Because you've set the boundaries, you have the line in the sand here. Now it's kind of like other people finding out that you have these boundaries. And it's like, well, I don't know who told you I didn't, but they were wrong. And in fact, they're so wrong that they absolutely don't know what they're talking about. So, from the flip side, some interactions with you could appear like kind of like headbutting wise, or it's like, well, wait a second, I'm not getting what I want. How come I'm not like. But it was okay when you looked like this. It was okay when you were the target. It's okay when you were getting dangled. Hello? Hello? Okay.
This is a reminder. Pay the city of
Thank
Peoria
you,
and mortgages.
Alexa,
If you
for
finish
the
this, just
reminder.
let me know you're
Alexa,
done.
thank you.
Otherwise, I'll
Alexa,
remind you when
thanks.
that- Sorry, something went wrong.
Okay.
This is a reminder.
La 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 la.
If you finish this, just let me know you're done. Otherwise, I'll remind you when you're
Alexa, I'm done.
Okay, I'll stop reminding you.
I've done like part of the reminder, but not the
This is a
second.
reminder. Record my song from Molly Tuttle.
Thank you, Alexa.
This is a reminder. Record my song from Molly Tuttle.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so kind of like that. It's like, you know, they might have felt like orders of business were interfering with, you know, what they were going to get out of the situation. Okay, long story short. And you know, some people have a very different perception in their head, and that is something that they could have been faulting you for. Okay, that you didn't match the perception in their head as well. Okay, and it's like, well, yeah, I guess you think I'm too much. Well, how about 0? If you didn't like it, have none. Okay. You know, just because people grow up doesn't mean they can't still act like children and entitled brats. And, you know, yeah, but when we grow up, we call it enabling, okay? We call it codependency, okay? All right. Don't let pride get in your way. Full moon and Leo. Okay. So, yeah, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and say, yeah, I'm not going to get taken advantage of. No, I don't agree with this. You know what I mean? Like, part of that could be like, it's like, well, if I just went along with this, then, you know, there could be so many other cool things that happen, right? And it's like a lot of people desperately want those things. But are you willing to humble yourself to get to the point? Okay? So, yeah, don't let pride get in your way. That doesn't mean you shouldn't hear people out, okay? But also don't, you know, you don't have to hold back either. Like, you're entitled to, you know, and if they don't want to hear it, they'll go away, right? Well, won't they? If they don't want to hear it, they'll block you, right? But if you're having the conversation, have the conversation. Okay? So that could be part of this as well, of your commitment being tested, because it's like the way you are rooted currently is so strong. And it's like, why do I even have to tell anybody anything? But if they're going to have a conversation with you, go for it. Okay? They're coming to the horse's mouth. This is the time. You know what I mean? It's because so much of this happens in, You know what I mean? Where you will never maybe even see these people, okay? Right? But when every now and then, you know what I mean? You're gonna maybe bump into this person or these people, and you know, maybe get a conversation going. let that happen. Here and it says surrender to the divine. So I was talking about the flow a little bit earlier. Okay, yeah, the answers you need are coming. So I feel like for some of you, you're actually going to have potentially an important discussion. There's going to be some resolution, okay, to some miscommunications that you've had with certain people. All right, and you know, and part of that, you could eat. You know, if you're feeling in the good frame of mind, you could be like, well. You know, when somebody does X, Y, and Z, that does not make me feel good. Therefore, I draw that boundary. You know, I mean, you can let people know that that is something that's hurtful without letting them hurt you. Okay, right? So, that's, you know, part of you know, they say vulnerability, but like you can do that without necessarily being in the kind of like that reverse emotional space. Okay, that would be like the Queen of Cups, you know, being in the reverse. Okay, and you're in the upright right now. Okay, and that's why they want to be coming towards you and begin with. Remember that. Okay. Now, yeah. Okay. So, you know, I feel like what this message here overall is, you know, say what you need to say. You know, don't hold back. It's just like once you get time to actually clear the air, are you going to have the opportunity again? And, you know, one of two things are going to happen. But definitely one thing is going to be beneficial for you, and that's you've got it off your chest, okay? And you've put out there your intention of I need to be treated this way or that way, or when I'm interacting with so and so and this happens, that I find disrespectful, therefore I do not enter relationships where that occurs. Okay? All right. So I feel like this reading has gone quite long for really, so there's quite a lot of information on this one. Whoo-wee. Alrighty. I hope you all have a good weekend. And until next time, please manifest wisely. Bye-bye.